Today's question: what are stable tones? You most likely know this famous lullaby from Brahms. How do you feel when the melody ends? Was something missing? We removed the last note on purpose, which probably made you feel a little uneasy. The note where the music stopped is what we call the leading tone. You can feel it wants to lead to somewhere. There's some tension here. Which note was it supposed to lead to? Was it or even if you didn't know the melody, you can probably predict what the next note would have been, right? How is that possible? Well, the leading tone, which gets its name exactly because it has a sort of magic power that leads to the note above. Like this. Better, right? Now, when we're talking about leading to another note, we call this resolution, because we are resolving the tension that existed before. Usually, when we resolve this tension, we end up in what we call a stable tone. If a melody ends on one of these stable tones, it feels firm and grounded. Let me show you another example. Listen to how stable and calm the last note sounds. Did the melody feel finished to you this time around? Probably yes. And the best way to describe it is that it departed from home, made its journey, and then resolved. We've been talking about stable tones, but how many are there? There are 3 different stable tones for each key, and ending a melody on any of these has a different flavor. Both of the previous examples ended on the first stable tone, which is the strongest and more stable. We call it the tonic. We can also refer to it simply as 1. Now let us listen to an excerpt that ends in another stable tone. For example, the 5, which is also called the dominant. When a melody ends on the dominant, it still feels stable and firm, but it also feels like it's not quite done yet, like there's still more music to come. Take a listen. Did you notice how it felt stable but unfinished? And indeed it was. A few seconds later, the violin finishes the whole phrase nicely by ending on a tonic, and then repeats it again in its higher register for emphasis. Pay attention to how stable it sounds now. We've arrived at home. We have talked about 2 stable tones, the 1 and the 5, tonic and dominant. So we're only missing the last one, the 3, also called mediant. By the way, it's not necessary to memorize the names as it is the numbers. These numbers represent different scale degrees. So if you don't understand them quite yet, don't worry. Stay tuned for that video. Now listen to the following example and notice how fragile the last note sounds. Ending on the 3 also sounds stable, but a bit weaker. It also feels like there could be more music to come, but it's not as certain. The music could end there and it would be convincing. Now you might be wondering why all of this matters. Well, learning how to listen to music and sounds is the very first step into ear training, which is one of the most valuable tools any musician can have. It allows you to look at a melody and sing it, to compose without an instrument, to read from sight, to understand music better and become a better performer. Ultimately, it just makes your life easier. So, your task now is to listen to songs or pieces you like and pay close attention to the endings of melodies. Can you tell which stable tone it landed on? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out our video on unstable tones.